All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to do today is you are going to work on adding some value. Let me get this out of here so you can see some value planes onto your realistic drawings. So this is the last step, or the second to last step before we're going to turn these in. So we are not shading. We are not shading. See, I'm using a regular pencil. Do I have the ebony pencil? No, we are not shading yet. There are a couple things we need to do to this before we start going in with the ebony pencil. So no shading. No shading yet. Today, what you're going to do is you should have your object, and you're also going to have your light. So you may, depending on the size of your class, you may have a light on your own. You may have to share a light. Either way, you're going to have a light. You're going to plug it in. You're going to turn it on, and you're going to use it today. So for this, you're going to take your object. You're going to set it somewhere on your table, and you're going to set your light on it. And one thing I want you to do, and I'm going to do this at the top part of the thing so you can see, is you are going to kind of move your light around and figure out which way has a better set of shadows. So if I'm setting this here, I kind of like how that's coming on it there. And I got to do it this way, so that means I got to move my light around. So you can move your lights around. Do not, if you're sitting pretty close to someone, you might want to share a light either way, so just so that your lights aren't affecting each other. You want to make sure that your object has the light on it. You also want to make sure the entire object is under the light source, so that you do not, there we go, you do not have, like, if I move, see how if I move my light, I can't move my light too much. If I move my object above my light, see how up here doesn't have a light on it at all, and down here does? You don't want those kinds of shadows. You want to make sure that your light is hitting the entire object from top to bottom. Okay? So, then what you're going to do is we're going to look at value planes. So just like we talked about and we looked at in class, we're going to look at where does the value change. Now when we're shading, it's not going to be a harsh line. But if I'm looking here, there is a really bright light right here. So I'm going to draw that shape of value. Then I'm going to look here, and this all in here is kind of medium. It starts to transition. It starts to transition here. My line isn't straight because the angle of my light and the angle of my object, these lines of transition might not always be straight. Now if I look up here, this line of transition goes across here, and then there's a line of transition here. This gets dark right around here and right around here. Now, see-through objects are going to have a little bit different of a value. So I'm going to look, and I've got a really bright light right here. My middle transition is longer because it's see-through. And the really dark space I'm seeing is right here. So what you're going to do is make sure you've got, now if I got to look up here, oh wait, this area here is super light and it's got a cast shadow across it. There is a shadow where this object is. There's that. And then there's a shadow, a darker, this side here is darker. Over here too. There's this dark shadow right here. So I'm going to try to find all of those shadow spaces and kind of start dividing my page. I'm going to turn off my light for a second so you can see what I just drew. So you can see I've gotten all of these in here. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to pull up your drawing, which I know you can't see mine very well. And the last thing you're going to do is draw your cast shadow on the page. So I'm going to have my light source is coming kind of from this direction, and my cast shadow comes here and goes off the page. All right. So, do this to all three of your shapes, which means if you've got a shape that has more indents or creates cast shadows, you want to find all of those shadows and in kind of a medium light tone, like am I drawing these really heavy, heavy, heavy and dark, except where I know it's dark? No, I'm keeping them light. I know that all of them will get covered up by the ebony pencil. So you don't want to press as hard as you can. No, you want to keep your lines nice and light, but I want to be able to see when you go to turn these finals in after tomorrow where those shadow lines are. All right, go work on your realistic objects value plane.